It's like regular everyday things, but make it crazy. Hello book besties! Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Kiera and I am so excited to have you here. Now, today's video should be really fun. I am giving you the ultimate guide to beginner thriller recommendations. These are the books that I recommend if you are starting out in the thriller genre, or if you're coming from romantasy or sci-fi or lit fic and you want to get more into thrillers. These are books that I recommend, that I fell in love with, and where I think would be a great place to start. So let's start this list off with the book that actually got me into reading and into thrillers in general. This is where I started, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Now, this story follows this woman who goes missing, and her husband is the prime suspect in her disappearance. We follow him through the news interviews, public opinion, all that good stuff. So this book was my start to my thriller reading journey, and I could not have asked for a better book. This book has a classic twist in it that introduced me to my favorite trope ever, the unhinged woman trope. This book is so good. I did not see that plot twist coming, and I still think about that plot twist years later after finishing this book. The plot is very easy to follow along. We're following a very simple storyline that is easy to follow. The writing is not super complicated or fluffy. Gillian Flynn gets right to the point, and it will keep your attention with short chapters. This book has a movie out, which was honestly one of the reasons why I picked it up. I wanted to watch the movie, and I figured I would read the book, and I am so happy that I did that before watching the movie. I think as a general tip though, if you're someone who's trying to get into reading, maybe start with a book that has a movie out. If you're somebody who enjoys movies, that can help you get motivated to finish the book. So I would honestly maybe start there if you're a beginner. The other thing I want to mention quickly too is most of these books I actually do not own. When I started my reading journey, really started to get into reading, I was using an old Kindle that I had from when I was in high school. And honestly, this did kind of save me through that time. At the time, I was living in a really small apartment, and having that Kindle let me consume as many books as I wanted to without needing to worry about where I'm going to put them, where I'm going to store them. I also had a library close to me, which was another really good resource. You do not have to spend a ton of money on books, and I don't recommend that for a beginner who's just trying to figure out what they like. The Kindle is a really good tool. Your phone is a really good tool. Maybe audiobooks if that's your thing, and of course your library. Definitely take advantage of your library and all the good resources that they have. That is my side rant over. Let me get into what I would also recommend to a thriller reader based on vibes. Let's start off with my favorite. Let's go into domestic thrillers. Now, domestic thrillers are going to read like drama TV shows. They are so bingeable, so good, and very easy to follow, which is why I would recommend these to a beginner thriller reader, because these drama-like books, these domestic thrillers that don't have an intense plotline, it could help you figure out what you like, how intense you like your thrillers, etc. You'll learn that after you read the first 2 or 3. So we'll start off with The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. This is a classic thriller. Freida McFadden is one of the queens of thrillers, and I think The Housemaid is her best work. I have read a couple of her books, and The Housemaid to me is still the best. Now, this book is part of a series, if that's what you're into. I personally have only read the first book. This book is about this woman who lands a job as a housemaid for a very rich family. Things are fine and dandy until the family starts acting a little crazy. And the only thing that is keeping her at this job is the fact that she has her own secrets and her own things that kind of tie her down to this job. I will not spoil anything, so I'm going to leave that premise there. The other great thing about The Housemaid is that it has a movie out. So you might want to maybe read this book first and then go watch the movie. Again, like I said, that is a great motivator to finish a book. So I would recommend that. The reason why I would also recommend this for beginners is because the chapters are very short, the storyline itself is very easy to follow, It is relatable in the sense that, like, you know, it's like regular everyday things, but make it crazy. This is also going to be a great segue into the unhinged woman trope. So I would absolutely recommend if you think this is something that you would like. Now, sticking with domestic thrillers real quick, I'm going to give you my absolute favorite domestic thriller, and this is The Perfect Marriage by Jeneva Rose. The Perfect Marriage by Jeneva Rose follows this married couple. Wife is a lawyer, the husband is a struggling writer. Now, what I'm about to say next is not a spoiler, but the husband has a mistress, and that mistress dies. Yeah, and not only that, but now he is the main suspect in her murder trial, and the wife is going to defend him. She's going to be his lawyer. Now, this book is amazing. It grips you right away. It gets going. There is no buildup. It is crazy from chapter 1. And the reason why I would recommend this to a beginner thriller reader is because it's really not super complicated of a storyline. Again, it's very easy to follow along. It has very short chapters. And it also is kind of a legal thriller as well, because you're getting pieces of the court case that the husband is going through. So I think that is great if you're somebody who maybe likes like legal type of shows. Maybe you would like this kind of book too. And the plot twist was insane. I did not see that plot twist coming. So good. Oh, and this book has a sequel too. It has The Perfect Divorce, which is the next book. I have not read that one. I've only read the first one. I'm really bad about keeping up with series. Still a great recommendation all on its own, and I think it would be a great place for you to start your thriller reading journey. Now, jumping off from legal thrillers, we have one that is also closely related to a legal thriller. We have What Happened to Nina by Dervla McTiernan. So sorry if I am pronouncing that incorrectly. This book follows this young couple. They go on a hiking trip and the girlfriend goes missing. The interesting twist on this is that we're not following the girlfriend and boyfriend, we are following their parents and the detective on their case. So it is a wild ride. You get a lot of social commentary in this book. It is a great thriller. I also think this is one of the best thriller audiobooks that I've listened to. I did this on audio and on Kindle, so I did it like hand in hand. But once I got really into the audiobook, I was mostly doing the audiobook as I thought it was really great. They have a cast of voices, so the voices are all different. And it was a really good thriller. This book I also read while I was in kind of like a reading dry patch, if you will. So this book got me back into like my thriller binging days. So I really loved it. I don't see a ton of people talk about this one, but it was, to me, very entertaining. Again, very short chapters. So it would be a great place to start your thriller reading journey, especially if you're somebody who's into audiobooks, as I really love this audiobook. I know in the thriller space, in the thriller genre niche, on Thriller Book Talk, you hear a lot about psychological thrillers, and I do have a solid recommendation for you to start with psychological thrillers if you think that that is more your vibe. Now, my top recommendation for this for a beginner would be The Silent Patient by Michaelides. This is a classic psychological thriller. So in this book, we follow this woman who shot her husband in the face and never spoke a word again. Then you have the POV of her psychotherapist. His name is Theo, and he becomes obsessed with her and is determined to make her speak. That's where we kind of jump off from that point. This is a great recommendation for a beginner. It has short chapters. It is still easy to follow along, even though it's a psychological thriller. And the plot twist in this is divine. Like, I did not see that coming. I know I've heard people say before that they saw it coming. I did not. And if you're a beginner, you probably won't either. Now, I'm gonna give you some spooky thrillers too. We're heading into Summerween, and if you want to participate in Summerween while still being a beginner thriller reader, I have some perfect recommendations for you. My first recommendation is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Sorry guys, my dog Sam is here, and I think there's somebody that he sees outside. It's gonna make him go crazy, so I'm gonna give him a second here. Anyways, The Only One Left by Riley Sager is about this woman who takes a home health aide position caring for this elderly woman named Lenora Hope. Lenora Hope was accused of murdering her entire family years ago, but there was not enough evidence to arrest her, so she just kind of lives with these accusations and lives a very solitary, lonely life. Lenora, for whatever reason, really trusts Kit to tell her story, so she's going to tell her story through Kit and this typewriter. Now, Lenora is completely paralyzed. She also cannot speak, so she is using one finger on the typewriter to tell her story. The reason I recommend this to a beginner thriller reader is because it gives all the spooky vibes. Sorry, there's people outside, so he's going to be amped all video. Anyways, what was I even saying? I don't know, I lost my point. Anyways, this book has the best spooky vibes. It is very gothic in setting, and you can just feel the cold breeze. It's one of those books that takes place in like a really nice mansion on like a cliffside. So it's vibes, it's giving, like, it's really good. This is a 5-star read for me as well. The reason why I would recommend this to a beginner thriller reader is because, like I said, in all the other books that I've had on this list, it has very short chapters, it's very easy to follow along, and the story is very stressful while still giving you those gothic spooky vibes, which we all love. So I think this would be perfect. Either like read it in Summerween or save it for spooky season. I think this would be a great thriller recommendation for spooky season. Sticking with spooky and Summerween-ish type of reads, we have Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. This is my favorite creepy thriller. In this book, we follow this woman who lands a job as a babysitter. Everything is fine and dandy until the child that she is watching starts drawing some really creepy pictures to depict a very gruesome scene. The child's pictures are very childlike and innocent, but then as time goes on, it's slowly getting like more creepy and more gruesome. The other theme that we're kind of following in this book is that the babysitter truly thinks that this kid is haunted. If your babysitter thinks that your child is haunted, you're obviously going to have an issue with that. It is very good. You do get the actual pictures, the actual drawings in the book, which is very interesting as well. And lastly, I'm going to throw in another, but for this book, I'm specifically keeping in mind all my sci-fi nerds out there. This one is The One by John Mars. This book is about a DNA test that you can take that will show you who your ultimate soulmate is. In this book, we're following 5 couples who think that they found their happily ever after and are slowly realizing that this is turning into a living nightmare. This book is so intense, and there wasn't a couple that I didn't enjoy. I enjoyed every POV in this book. I also finished this book in one day, so if that doesn't convince you to read this, I don't know what will. This book is great for a beginner thriller reader. Like all the other books on this list, it is short, it has short chapters, easy to follow along, really fast pacing, and it kind of is like a genre blend between thriller and sci-fi. The other thing I'll say about this book too is it does have a series out on Netflix, I believe. The Netflix series, it's not depicting the events of our book, it's just inspired by the book. So if you've seen the series, you're probably still okay to read the book, as it had nothing to do with our original 5 couples. And then also, again, I think if you have a series or a movie that you really want to watch and it's based on a book, that'll give you motivation to read the book first. Alrighty guys, and that will wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed, please leave me a comment. Let me know, are you a beginner thriller reader? Are you more experienced and maybe have some other recommendations that are good for beginners? Have you read any of the books that I have on this list? What were your thoughts on any and all of them? Leave it all in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please also leave it a like, and I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you stick around for more videos from me. I try to post every Thursday and Sunday. I think that's going to be a good schedule for me. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, besties!